After weeks of pushback and calling the criminal cases a witch hunt, the trial has begun for Donald Trump. The Republican leader is making history by becoming the first former U.S. president to sit in a courtroom to face a criminal trial. And that too just months ahead of the American presidential elections. And first up on the judge's dock is the hush money case. When the former president entered the courthouse, he told reporters that the trial was, quote, an assault on America, maintaining the process is nothing more than an attack on a political opponent.
This is an assault on America. Nothing like this has ever happened before. There's never been anything like it. Every legal scholar said this case is nonsense. It should never have been brought. It doesn't deserve anything like this. There is no case.
The 77-year-old is accused of falsifying his business records to disguise a hush money payment made to an ex-porn star called Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election. If Trump is convicted, he could face up to 4 years in jail. The trial is beginning with a jury selection. 12 jurors will be giving a verdict on the former president, with the entire trial expected to continue for 6 to 8 weeks. The trial will center around a payment Trump made to his former fixer, Michael Cohen. Cohen claims he was directed to use the money to pay porn star Stormy Daniels $130,000 in exchange for her silence about an alleged affair with Trump. Prosecutors call the silence an attempt to unlawfully influence the 2016 election. Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. To reach a verdict, all 12 jurors must agree on whether Trump is guilty or not guilty of a specific charge. The hush money trial is the first of 4 criminal cases that will begin against Trump. The trial in Manhattan is expected to feature testimonies of several key characters in the case. They include Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels, and Trump's personal lawyer who went to prison over the scandal. Trump has made several unsuccessful attempts to delay the jury trial and move it from Manhattan, that is comprised predominantly by Democrats. While courtroom drama ensued in New York, some American voters gathered outside Ground Zero had this to say about Trump's trial.
It's not going to be fair. And like I said, if the man steps on a roach, they're going to try to convict him for murder. And this is not the America I grew up in. It's frightening and it's horrible. And people are not speaking out. And I'll be so upset if when this country is turned, when people say, what's going on, it's not fair, shut up, because you didn't do anything to stop it.
He's got a gag order by this corrupt Judge Merchan, whose daughter is a Democrat political operative, who's working with Democrats like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. They literally have the Biden-Harris campaign as a client, working with Adam Schiff to raise millions of dollars for Democrats that are actively fundraising and writing emails. Oh, you don't want to hear this, right?
No one is above the law. Trump is not above the law. Above the law. Trump is not above the law. Trump is not above the law. No one is.
Every single day talking to all of you fake news media freaks and letting you know that Donald Trump did nothing wrong until you start to report the truth.
This is about what happened in 2016 when Trump tried to squelch information that he viewed as prejudicial to him. He broke the law in doing that. We believe that Alvin Bragg has a good case and that there will be a fair jury of New Yorkers there to judge the information and the law and make a decision. We individually and collectively are glad to see that Trump is finally being brought in front of a judge in a criminal case. This is just one of 4 cases. It's the first. We're glad it's here in New York because we know Judge Merchan is a fair judge and we know that the New York juries are fair and unbiased juries.
Our correspondent Susan Teran is now joining us live from New York. Hi, Susan. This historic Trump criminal trial has begun with jury selection. Take us through what to expect in the coming days or weeks.
Yeah, and then, something that's very routine at a courtroom, which is jury selection in this extraordinary first time ever trial of a former president. It's going to be a very selective, so to say. In the next 2 weeks or so, about 500 New York City residents will go in and out of that Manhattan courtroom until 12 are selected ultimately to have an unbiased opinion about the president when answering a set of questionnaires and such, and then the trial will officially start. So as you mentioned, right now it's at the stage of a jury selection. This is very important considering the fact that, as you mentioned, and as we heard in some of those sound bites, New York is a very blue state. Most of its residents voted for President Joe Biden. And, some believe that it's going to be very difficult to try to find that impartial jury pool. But nonetheless, the case is going along. What we are seeing is that the former president is taking this opportunity, being in that courtroom today, to come outside, talk to the cameras, because ultimately he will have to be, this is a criminal case, he will have to be in court during these days, at least 4 times a week, because as we know, until now, Wednesdays, the court will not be in session. But for 4 days a week, he will have to be in this Manhattan courtroom. So we're going to be expected to see the former president campaigning on the one hand and appearing in court in the other.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.